pulse of the nation. Some TV, the pulse of the nation.
Good news, farmers in Taraba State. Your storage problems are now over. The Taraba State government introduces new official farm sacks, the standard packaging solution for all agricultural products across our state. Through partnership between the Ministry of Commerce, Trade and Industry with the visionary network Apex Limited, we're introducing high-quality branded sacks featuring Taraba's identity. The key benefits include uniform standard sacks statewide, increased internally generated revenue for Taraba's development, proud Taraba branding showing the origin of farm produce nationwide. Distributors in Yangtu, Nganda and all local governments, this is your call to action. Farmers Association and Amana members, prepare for better storage. Dealers across Nigeria, get ready for Taraba's premium branded sacks. Together, we build Taraba's agricultural future, one quality sack at a time. Taraba Sacks, protecting your harvest, promoting our state. Announcer Honorable Peter George, the Commissioner.
Welcome to Some TV World News on Some TV. I'm Teresa Ayuba and as the world watches for the next frontier of growth, we say look to Taraba State, Nigeria, a land rich in resources, ripe with opportunities and still ready for bold investment. Here are some of the headlines. India braced for $64 billion export hit amid raising U.S. tension. Pakistan begins deporting registered Afghanis refugees ahead of deadline. Pope Leo criticized nuclear deterrence on 80th anniversary of Hiroshima bombing. Now the news in full. India's exports to the US are facing a significant threat, with potential losses estimated at $64 billion due to President Donald Trump's 25% tariff and possible 10% penalty for buying Russian oil. This move has sparked India's most serious diplomatic crisis with the US in a year. The tariff would affect nearly $64 billion worth of India's exports to the US, accounting about 80% of total exports to the country. The tariff has possible penalty would lead to potential export losses due to price disadvantages impacting Indians' competitiveness. Indians' exports to the US include garments, pharmaceutical, jams, and jewelry, which will be severely impacted. Assessment reports. The Indian government has prepared an internal assessment report estimating the trade impact of the reef. GDP growth forecast. Despite the uncertainty, the Reserve Bank of India has left its GDP growth forecast unchanged at 6.5% for the current financial year. Indian National Security Advisor Ajit Doval is in Russia to discuss India's purchase of Russian oil and defense collaboration. Foreign Minister Subramaniam Jaishankar will follow up on this decision in the coming week. Pakistan has started deporting documented Afghan refugees before the September 1st deadline, sparking concern from the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees (UNHCR). The move could lead to over 1 million Afghans being expelled from the country. Hundreds of registered Afghan refugees were detained and deported to Afghanistan from August 1st to August 4th, despite the formal deportation process being set to start after the September 1st deadline. Over 1.3 billion Afghans hold proof of registration POR card, while 750 more have Afghan citizens cards, allowing them to reside in Pakistan. The UNHCR views the deportation as a breach of Pakistan's international obligation, urging the government to adopt a human approach for voluntary, gradual, and defined returns. A legal foreign repatriation plan, Pakistan launched this campaign in late 2023, aiming to remove foreigners without legal documentation, particularly targeting undocumented Afghan. Security concern, Pakistan has blamed Afghan citizens for militant attack and crimes, justifying the deportation drive on national security grounds. Risks of instability, the mass return of refugees could jeopardize lives, freedom, and stability in Afghanistan and the region. Afghanistan faces a fresh wave of mass deportation from Iran, risking further destabilization. Pope Leo XIV has condemned the global nuclear deterrent system as an illusory security on the 80th anniversary of the Hiroshima bombing. In his weekly audience, the pontiff emphasized the devastating impact of nuclear weapons and urged world leaders to prioritize dialogue over mutual destruction. Pope Leo XIV criticized the resilience of nuclear deterrence, calling for a shift towards dialogue and peaceful conflict resolution. The Pope's appeal came hours after representatives from 120 countries, including the US, attended a ceremony in Hiroshima to mark the atomic bombing that killing approximately 78 people instantly. Pope Francis Leo proceeds charges the church teaching to condemn the possession of nuclear arms, supporting the UN treaty to ban nuclear weapons. A delegation of Catholic bishops from Japan, South Korea, and the US, including Cardinals Blas, Kopich, and Robert McCrory, condemned wars, conflict, and the use and possession of nuclear weapons. The UN treaty to ban nuclear weapons came into force in 2021, but nuclear-armed nations have yet to support it. Africa's import landscape is complex, with China emerging as the dominant supplier for most of the continent. According to the World Bank, World Integrated Trade Solution (WITS) and the Observatory of Economic Complex (OEC), China supplied around 74% of Angola's imports in 2022, while Ghana imported $6.15 worth of goods from China in 2023. Key important partners: China dominated supply for many African countries, including Angola, Ghana, and Mali, with export ranging from machinery and electronic to textile and oil industry equipment. South Africa, top important supplier from Southern Africa countries include Namibia, Botswana, and Zimbabwe due to its advanced manufacturing sector and proximity. European partner, France, Spain, and Italy are significant important source for some African countries, particularly in West African and North African, with exports including pharmaceuticals, machinery, and foodstuffs. Notable trade relationship: Angola-China. China supplied 74% of Angola's import in 2022, with export include oil industry equipment and consumers' goods. Ghana. China was Ghanaia's largest import origin in 2023, with export worth $6.15 billion, including machinery, electronic, and textile. Namibia, South Africa. Namibia imported $2.68 billion worth of goods from South Africa in 2023, including refined petroleum, foodstuffs, and vehicles. U.S. requires Zimbabwe Malawi citizens to pay up to $15,000 bond for visitors' visas. The U.S. State Department has announced that citizens of Zambia and Malawi will be required to pay bond ranging from $5,000 to $15,000 for certain tourist and business visas under a pilot program launching on August 20, 2025. This move aims to reduce visa outstay and enhance vetting processing. Key details: the bond amount will be determined during the visa interview and can range from $5,000 to $15,000. Refundable bond: the bond is refundable if the traveler leaves the U.S. within the allowed time frame and complies with the visa terms. Specific airport: visa holders who post a bond must enter and exit the U.S. through specific airports, including Boston Logan International Airport, John F. Kennedy International Airport in New York, Washington Dulles International.
Financial Services Regulation Coordinating Committee (FSRCC), in collaboration with the National Broadcasting Commission (NBC), wishes to draw the attention of the public to the worrisome increase in the activities of illegal financial operators (IFOs), which threaten public trust and the stability of the Nigerian financial system. The FSRCC and NBC hereby advises the general public to refrain from dealing with unlicensed financial operators who deceive individuals with unrealistically high investment returns. Make sure to verify the licensing status of such companies and schemes on this website. To report any suspicions of illicit financial activities, call Let's work together to uphold the integrity of Nigeria's financial system. Announcer, FSRCC.
Welcome back. A devastating plane crash occurred at Jadel Fatal Abbas Airport in northern Algeria's Taha town on Monday, resulting in the death of 4 people, and civil protection surveillance aircraft was on a routine training mission when it went down, according to Algerian media reports. Citing civil protection authorities, the deceased includes 2 members of Algerian Civil Protection Force, a flight instructor from the Civil Protection Aviation School, and Chelan Aviation Company manager. Authorities have launched a full investigation into the cause of the crash, which is currently unknown. Similarly, aircraft types may be grounded until the investigation is complete and safety recommendations are made. The plan was on a standard training exercise highlighting the risks faced by personnel doing such mission. The incident has drawn attention due to the international connection with the Chilean victim, sparking regional interest in the outcome of investigation. Cameroon Constitutional Council has definitively buried opposition leader Maurice Kamto from the October 12 presidential election, rejecting his appeal against the decision. The Electoral Commission had excluded Kamto from the list of candidates approved to contest the vote, citing that he was running under the banner of Manidam Party, which also support a second candidate. The Electoral Commission buried Katom due to dispute within the Madiam Party, which had adopted him as a candidate while also nominating another candidate, Douedounan Yabge. Kamto's legal team condemned the verdict as political outcast, alleging the council operating 95% political and 3% legal, thereby fraud in the electoral process. Dozens of protesters gathered at the entrance of the Constitutional Council to show their support for Kamto, but were dispersed by police firing tear gas, resulting in several detentions. Human Rights Watch expressed concern about the critical of the electoral process, stating that excluding the most popular opponent will leave a shadow over the result. The 92-year-old President Paul Biya, who has been in power for 43 years, has been cleared to contest for an 18th term, sparking concern about his health and long-standing criticisms of his rule. Zambia is seeking an additional $145 million by extending its International Monetary Fund (IMF) program by 12 months. The Sudan African copper-producing country has been working to stabilize its public finance after accumulating a significant debt file. Finance Minister Sitombako Musuku Tuan announced the development, emphasizing that the IMF program provides assurance of prudent financial management. Zambia hopes to receive $145 million in additional financial support through the program extension. The country has already received $1.55 billion under the $1.7 billion extended credit facilities, which is set to expire in October. Ending the MFI program would result in Zambia losing donor support on the program. The IMF program aims to restore macroeconomic stability. That's all for World News on Some TV. Stay connected. I'm Teresa Ayuba. Do have a wonderful day.
When a tanker bearing fuel falls or an underground pipe bearing fuel bursts, what do? Scooping fuel in your bucket or running far away from impending fire? You have a few seconds to take the wisest decision. Walk away? No, that is not enough. Shift? No, that is not enough. Stay there and gist and take shots with your phone? That is madness. Run. Yes, run away. Yes, your life depends on your action. The flames come suddenly, unexpected but uncontrollable. Why? Fuel is highly inflammable. Why? It just requires a spark to set off a ravaging inferno. So, don't stay there to think. Storm away to live. Do not throw away your life in anguish for meaningless fuel siphoning. Be advised.